All right, and here we go. And we are back once again with another episode of the Uncivilized Art Podcast. I'm your host, Bundy Hazan, but I go by Bandit Haze in the online space. And I'm joined by, I believe, the very first person that I interviewed on this podcast.
Wow.
Actually, I didn't even clock this, but yeah, you're the very first person I interviewed for this podcast. So I had a couple of guests before you, but they weren't really interviews. You were the first actual interview that I did for this podcast. So welcome back
Oh
2 years
wow.
later to Henvincible. How you doing, brother?
I am Henvincible. That's me. What's good, y'all? I didn't know I was the first interview. Wow, glad to be back.
Yeah, I didn't even clock that myself actually, because I was thinking, wait a minute, yeah, you are the first actually. I literally just clocked that just
Wow.
right now. It's like, actually, you're the first person I interviewed for this podcast. So like, yeah.
You've been doing an amazing job.
Oh,
All of the
thank you,
interviews with
thank you,
different
thank you.
creators. My guy Bundy. You've been doing dope.
I
I'm
appreciate that,
glad that I
man.
was able to set a bar that you've exceeded.
Yeah, we been doing this for I guess a little over 2 years for the podcast. I probably have to check when the first one exactly was, but yeah, be a little over 2 years, I think, at this point. And we've had a few kind of like changes in I think in terms of style and things like
Mhm.
that, and directions and whatever. But we find a way to keep going. You find a way to keep going, and I think we've been able to do that. Well, hopefully, we've been able to do it in some way. Just keep going.
Yeah.
And work with what you got. And I haven't done an interview, I think, for a while now, actually. So as you know, Sweet Bunny comes on the podcast as a regular guest. Celeste Orchid comes on the podcast as a regular guest, and we talk about various things. But in terms of interviews, yeah, it's been a big minute, I think, since I last interview. So the first person I interviewed coming back, being the first person I interviewed in a while. How about that? How
Love it.
about that? The first person I interviewed for a second time, being the first player interviewed for a while, and the first player interviewed for the pod. Well, I guess it's a bunch of firsts right now, but I appreciate you, bro, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah, so we're gonna talk all about Mr. Invincible. So yeah, the last time we spoke, we talked about anime and wrestling and Twitch, and I guess we're talking pretty much some of the same stuff today. But oh.
Thankfully, it's been amazing. It's been an amazing year for all of those.
Oh, also, okay. Well, we've got some good news then. Apparently, we've got some good news coming up. But for yourself, then, in the last couple of years, I mean, so how you been doing with like Twitch and streaming and that whole thing, and how's that going for you?
um, Twitch and streaming has been good. Um, Consistency is always thing at the forefront. Um, you know, I've been dabbling with a couple of different schedules just because
Mm,
my work schedules have changed.
mm,
Still in the midst of figuring that out, but definitely trying to find a schedule I can stick with. Um, I was on I was on YouTube heavy for a period. There was a period where I was streaming less, recording more. I was doing my editing. I was making my thumbnails.
mm,
That was fun. That's a lot. It's a different thing from streaming.
mm,
Like streaming, unless you have like a set thing, you kind of like it's kind of like as long as I can go type thing. And with YouTube videos, you do try to be a little more concise. It gets
mm.
difficult with like gaming videos or whatever. But yeah, that's been good. So now, I haven't had, well, I haven't felt the want to like super get into editing. So at the moment, I'm multi streaming. Usually, when I do go live, I am going live on Twitch and YouTube simultaneously.
Mm.
Um, there was a time I was doing Twitch and Kick simultaneously. Uh, still, still working on monetization over on Kick. Kick is an interesting creature still.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, the most consistent creation I have. I mean, I still write my poetry here and there, but my podcast I'm a B mic on. Nonsense podcast. We drop 3 days a week. That's been good. We actually just started season 4. That was on a break in between seasons, and that's been good. My guy from Bob. It's definitely nonsense, but so we actually so we didn't record this. We went on an outing. AEW came to Chicago about 2 weeks ago, and it was his first ever live show. And so towards the end of the show, we were getting chants going. It was wild. He had a good time, but people came back with like, "Oh, y'all are funny." I was like, "Yeah, we do this for a living, kind of." But yeah, no. So that's been good. That was fun.
Okay, there's a few things mentioned. I actually do want to talk to you about Kick. We mentioned you did poetry actually. I'm not sure I knew you did poetry. Did we talk about that the last time?
Uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure I was podcasting
Yeah.
this.
Okay, so you write poetry. Okay, awesome.
Oh yeah,
Actually,
yeah, yeah. Write poetry. I one day might publish a poetry book just because I have a sister who's an author and she's gone through publishing
hmm,
I believe 3 books so far. So if I ever do that, look out for that. I don't even know what I would title it, but something corny,
hey,
a pun.
I mean,
And yeah,
poetry books tend
Henvincible
to have
just a
weird
book
names
of
anyway. Don't
poetry.
even worry about it. So just give it some weird name. Everybody thinks it's deep. You know what I mean? So,
But
but yeah.
yeah,
If we did talk
my
about
love
poetry the last time, then sorry.
my love of poetry has been there for a while. So all right,
Okay.
so in college I wanted in college I wanted to be a rapper, but I hated my voice. So I had a friend, my homeboy, he was a singer. So I would write for him and then
Yeah, yeah.
he would go and do it. So it was like,
Okay, yeah, yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. It's just through the years, it's been another avenue of creative release, emotional release,
Yeah.
therapeutic. I have a couple of friends that are pushing me to try and find like a open mic night here in the city because it's a Chicago's big artist town. So one day on the step to dropping that book, I'll do a couple open mic nights and then see if I can get some footage.
You know what? I'll definitely recommend doing the open mics. I mean, I did that. I mean, it's a while ago now, but yeah, many moons ago, I used to be pretty active on the London poetry scene. So I'd go around and doing the open mics and do performance poetry, spoken word, a lot of open mics. I did a lot of slam poetry competitions as well. I managed to get booked, if you could believe that. Like people managed, so somebody thought I was good enough to be booked. I managed to do that, and I mean, I did pretty. I feel like I did pretty okay with it, considering that I didn't have like a literary background, and I didn't grow up writing poetry like that. I mean, I guess I'd always done something creative and some things involved writing, but I was never really writing poetry like that. Wouldn't because like when I started on the scene, I was maybe like 27 or something, like 26, 27, late 20s. And at that point, people who are my age on the scene, they've been doing it for like 10 years already. You know what I
Right.
mean? And like the people starting out, they're in like their late teens, early 20s, that kind of age. So I'm learning from these young guys who've already got like 5 years experience, but they're like 5 years younger than me, things like that. So yeah, I didn't really
But
have
you
like
was
a
able to get where they was at in that amount of time. See, look at you.
um
You had the stuff. Apparently, you was
well
doing good.
I did all right. I did all right. I mean, I never reached like the big dizzy heights because I mean, there's people who I know who took it far. I mean, some of them, uh, they've gotten TV gigs. Some of them, did like. In fact, oh, did you watch the, oh Black Panther?
Yeah.
Remember the second Black Panther movie?
Uh,
Remember there's a character I can't remember her name right now, but Okoye has
yeah.
like a woman that she's kind of like training a little bit. She's like a new
Mm-hmm.
lady. I'm blanking on the character's name, but her real name is Michaela Cole.
You talking about Ironheart?
Not Ironheart. No, no.
Okay. I was
She's
gonna
part
say,
of the Wakanda tribe. She's part of the Wakandans. I can't remember the character's name, but her real name is Michaela Cole. But yeah, I used to see her around on the London poetry scene. So yeah, that a few people went
Mm.
real far with it.
Oh,
Yeah, she did a TV series also called I May Destroy You, which was awesome, by the way. If you've not seen it, 100%
Anika.
recommended. Anika, yeah, I think that's the name. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's dope.
yeah. She used to be around on the London poetry scene. I used to see her around, and yeah, she's done very well, clearly. So,
Yeah,
but
no,
yeah,
that's
man,
fire.
she's been in
That's
like
fire.
movies. She's been in a Black Mirror. Like I said, she had her own TV show called I May Destroy You, which is superb. If you've not seen it, anybody who's not seen it, I'm so it's a hard watch. I will say that it's one of those shows where it's kind of a because the subject matter it deals with. It's a hard watch, but yeah, excellent show.
Yeah, no, Michaela, if you watching this, I was a fan before, but now I'm really gonna check you out.
Oh, for real, for real. But yeah, I did that for a while, and I did pretty okay. I managed to do a few gigs, tour a little bit. In the end, it kind of got to a point where I just felt like this wasn't really for me anymore, so I haven't really pushed it so much. But I feel like the thing with poetry, I guess the thing with art in general, is that you never really stop being a poet. You just take a
Yeah,
long break. You know what I mean? You just get to that point where you just
and
take a really
then
long break. I don't know when
people
my break's going to be over,
change,
but
inspiration change, muses change.
yeah, indeed.
I understand completely.
Indeed. But yeah, no, poetry's been I'll say poetry for me has been a big part of me, just like you said about having a creative outlet, but also just things like discovering more about yourself and figuring out what you want to do, how you want to handle things, learning about yourself, learning about what you believe, what you think. And, poetry's been a big part of me figuring out a lot over the years. So even though I don't write so much, I do feel like a lot of who I am, it could be attributed to that period of time in my life. So yeah.
I'll actually I will send you one and you can put it like at the beginning. It was a so most of my poems are like love poems.
Right.
I'm a sweetheart at heart, I ain't gonna lie. But I've had a couple different ones that I've really been able to dig into. It's just about expression. It's just
Mm.
and I'm prone to alliteration and rhyming anyway.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
it was
Yep, yep,
just
yep. It comes out. I think when it comes out.
yeah. Yeah. And I was like, I ain't even know I was paying attention to English class like this.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no. Playing with words are fun.
do you find? I mean, you
And
mentioned. So you mentioned that you wrote a lot of love poetry. Like, I mean, do you find like for yourself, like when you're writing, that it could just come to you, or do you find
yeah.
like is there a person that inspires these love poems that if they're around, then it flows, or if they're not around, it's just not there.
So at one point in time, I did have a muse, and we hadn't even like met in person. She was just a really good person, and we connected.
Mm,
And other times, it was just an idea came to my head that I wanted to expound on, and I was like, okay, I'm going to perform this to my future lady one day. So
mm,
what would I like for her to hear about how I'm feeling type in this moment? Because a lot of them I put timestamps on so I can go back and like a time capsule and see what type of time I was on this
yeah,
date,
yeah,
how what I where I was trying to take the culture, and that also helps me. I don't talk about it super a lot, but I am proud of my poetry. I'm not gonna lie.
mm. But it's just you, right? It's like I think it's a style of writing more so, maybe not more so than other forms of writing, but certainly I think in terms of like when you write a poem, for the most part, it's just you in a room writing, and it's
Yeah,
what you're thinking, what you're feeling, writing, and there's little to no input from anybody else. So you're not, for the most part, you're generally
right.
not collaborating, or you don't have a producer, or you don't have
Right.
most of the time you
If
don't have
at
a
the
writing
most
partner,
you
or you know.
might have like somebody to bounce ideas off or
Right,
somebody to
right.
like send drafts to, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much all you. And so it's like a form of writing where when you put it out into the world, or when you step on stage and you start, reciting your poem, like that is you, like in that moment, like everything that you've lived up until that point coming out in word form, So yeah, it's a very kind of
And it's
personal
also
connection that you have with
empowering
people. Yes, yes.
because you never know who needs what message when. And when you put it out there into the universe, you get like ripples back of people it resonates with. And
Yeah.
then that's a connection that you made. And then that can help them get out what they're feeling, what they're thinking. You might inspire them to say, hey, I might need to try this form of expression.
Mm,
Because like I don't journal. I have journal friends. They go crazy with their diaries and day planners, and that's never really been my thing. Like I don't. That's a level of organization I guess I aspire for, but this, yeah, freeing kind of.
mm. Do you ever have an experience where you wrote something and the ideas that you had when you were writing it, that you had, when somebody else heard it, they took it to mean something completely different to what you meant, but at the same time, it
Mm-hmm.
still made sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
interpretation is definitely up for interpretation.
Mm,
Um, Also, different levels of understanding. Different messages hit people at different speeds.
mm.
And I've only shared my poems with like mainly like a handful of people, but I hope my bars have aged well. I hope
Yeah,
it's
the world
fine
needs to,
wine and not milk, you know?
the world needs to hear Henny. Needs to hear Henny spit.
Yeah.
We've heard a tiny little bit with the intro, so I think we necessarily need to hear the full thing now.
One day. I mean, YouTube shorts are a thing, TikTok is a thing. Maybe I'll turn it into like a series or something.
For sure. Um, so yeah, you mentioned Kick earlier, and so I do want to talk to you about Kick, because Kick. I mean, I only really hear about Kick. I've not been on the platform, so I don't have any kind of first-hand experience with it myself. But I only kind of hear what other people say about it, and it seems to be a controversial platform. Like there's people, of course, who love it. Then there's
Yeah.
people, of course, who hate it, and you know, I mean, you've been on it, so how do you feel about that? And maybe, let's say, going from Twitch to Kick, and or being on both, or how do you feel Kick or has Kick helped you, or where do you kind of fall in that?
Kick is still a little bit of an odd platform, to be honest. Um, of course, the enticement was the 95% split.
Hmm.
Um, I personally, so in my brand of gaming, like I mainly do anime games or wrestling or like RPGs. I've found trouble finding traction. I mean, I'm sure that there are niches like when the platform first started, it was mainly like gambling or sports betting, and I feel like that's still more than likely probably the driving force. Um, a lot of IRL streams, and I don't really do IRL streams. I'm not. I'm not exactly sure I'm the target creator for a Kick. Like my brand doesn't really, as far as what I feel like the majority of Kick patrons are looking for.
Mm,
I don't really get too much traffic over there. I don't really get too many chatters. I don't even know if people on Kick do chat like that for real. Like every like other streams I've gone into, the chat movement is not the same as Twitch, but I'm sure the population is not the same as Twitch.
mm,
And as far as people hating it, loving it, I kind of liken that to wrestling. Like there's tribalism. People are gonna ride for what they feel like they is near to them until they feel wrong, and then they move over, and then they are ride or die for that, and then it's just it is what it is. It's AEW and WWE. It's TNA and New
Yeah.
Japan. It's all.
Yeah, I guess Twitch is still the big boys at the moment, and Kick are just kind of
Yeah,
like
they
the little
still
guys
there,
trying to
bro.
make their name for themselves.
Yeah. YouTube is interesting. YouTube is its own thing because it's still not fully embracing live stream content.
Hmm.
Like recorded short form or long form content is still predominant over there.
Yeah.
But they've been making strides.
Yeah, YouTube, I find. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I don't know if it's fair to say the live isn't a priority because they definitely do have a focus on it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
It's just
quite
like the
Twitch,
UI the UI still isn't fully conducive.
right? Yeah.
Like just on like a home page before you even get to the stream. Like in the
Yeah.
stream, it's cool,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
on the UI of a page of I'm looking for a video or I'm looking for a live stream, it's just still not. You're
It's
gonna
not
be more
always clear,
drawn
right?
to
It's
the recorded video.
yeah, and it's not
Yeah.
always clear where the where the live streams are. Like I think one time they used to have like a tab where you click and it had
Huh.
they got rid of that a while ago. And I don't know
Now, one
why it's like
thing
that.
I have seen recently that was cute. They on the shorts tab every now and then when you scroll they will put a live video like a live stream in there that you can click onto and then go into. That's cute.
Yeah,
I feel like that might piss some people off that are really just into shorts, but it's a start.
I think they stole it from TikTok.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Yeah.
pretty much stole the whole shorts reels from TikTok. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of mad actually because like I don't know if you remember, this is going back a while now. It's kind of might be a little bit of an age test actually, but Instagram way back in the day used to do these short videos like for about 10, 15 seconds or something like that that you can
Mhm.
upload to Instagram. That's how they kind of started, just like these really short video clips that they allowed you to
Mhm.
upload. And then they decided to extend it where
Like,
you could have longer videos up to like 10 minutes or whatever it was.
yeah.
And that became like the thing that they were doing their focus on. And then when TikTok started blowing up, they're like, oh, we're going to do these like short videos again. It was like,
Yeah.
it's a bit mad. Like they started something, stopped it, and when they saw it got popular somewhere else, they started doing it again. Like,
Yeah.
but that's the way of the world. You know, people just copy each other.
Yeah. Bring back fleets. That's what I
Fleets.
want. Bring back the fleets
Oh, fleets.
when yeah, when Twitter had stories, they was called fleets.
Oh,
Bring
really?
that back.
Okay. I must have missed that. Okay.
Yeah,
Twitter had
it was like
stories.
Instagram. It was stories. 24 hours, they disappear, and it was just into the Twitter UI. And then they took it
Okay.
away. It was Fleet Nick. Shout out to the people that celebrated Fleet Nick. It was lit. But
I don't know,
yeah,
man. I mean, I see WhatsApp do like the story type thing as well. I'm like, okay, so everybody's doing this now.
that's funny. I don't even be on WhatsApp like that, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, no, I'm not really checking it, but I see it like you get like a little when you check a message, you see like a notification icon next to like updates, wherever you see tap on the updates bar, it's just people's stories. I'm like, okay, people
Which
actually
had the
post on
stories?
this. This story, it's like people, people post like memes or whatever or
Yeah, Twitch
photos,
added
and
stories.
yeah.
On the mobile app, people can post stories on Twitch now.
Oh, Twitch has stories. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So everybody's doing stories then, like just all copy
Everybody's
Snapchat.
trying to catch up and make some money.
Yes, Snapchat. I think Snapchat's still around. I don't use that
Yeah,
platform, but I
Snapchat's
think they
still
are still
around.
around, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
Snapchat's still around.
man,
They
all
got
these
their
platforms.
own reels too. But you can't really upload them. They're like people that are like Snapchat authorized or whatever.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah. Like
man.
channels. I guess that's what they probably call it. They call it like channels.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just kind of a bit long. I feel like there's so many social media platforms out there right now, and fair play to them. Of course, they're all going to serve a particular audience. I think like the idea, because there used to be, especially like for content creators, I think there used to be this idea. I mean, there probably still is this idea that you have to be on all these platforms. You have to have your Twitch. You have to have your not Twitch, sorry. Well, yeah, Twitch, but you have to have like your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook, your Snapchat, your
so a lot of it isn't
whatever
even
else.
just to post there. It's just to claim your name before someone else does, and then because someone to claim your name and then say some wild shit, and they're like, "No, that's not me." But yeah, mainly it's to claim your name.
So that makes sense to me, like just going there to claim your name. But I feel like the idea of trying to be on every platform, like I've tried that a few times, and it's just long. Like even when you use those services that can post to everything at once, like it's still just long. Trying to be on all platforms.
I really, when I go live, I just post on Twitter, and some days I forget to do that. Yeah. So,
Yeah, Twitter and Insta. I just stick with that for now. I do have a Facebook, but the only reason I have a Facebook
for family and birthdays.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a Threads yet. They keep trying to push I thought Threads would have died by now. They keep pushing Threads.
Hey, I haven't got a Threads yet. I mean, I set up a thread just for the sake of name claiming, but I never actually posted on it, right? So they've had threads for what, a year, 2 years? I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a little while now.
About a year and a half.
And I've never once posted on that on threads. And then my little brother, he gets a message on his Instagram saying that I've posted on threads and I'm waiting for him to respond. Like, you lying.
Wow.
You lying, Insta.
Oh yeah. Do you know that once you make that, you can't if you delete it, you also delete your Instagram?
Yeah, I saw that. It's like,
that's crazy.
Flip it out. And the thing is, you don't even need to do the name claiming, because apparently, like, you have to have the same name as your Instagram name anyway. So you didn't even need to do the name claiming thing. I was like, well, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Just set up and it's like, well, whatever. But they set up threads as a response to Twitter, because I think people were pissed off at Twitter at the time because of Elon Musk or whatever. Right. So it was like jumping on threads, and now they all just jump back to Twitter anyway. So
yeah, like
everyone's on Twitter again anyway. So like, all right, I'm leaving Twitter. I hate this platform. I can't stand this platform. 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, fine, fine.
Same thing with Twitch.
That's the thing though. We see people make these announcements about leaving a platform. It's like, if you're gonna leave, just leave. But the moment you see someone announce it, it's like, they're not leaving. You're not leaving.
Word, or they'll be back, or they just feel like they need to do this now, and that's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, well, social media is just a whole thing. I mean, I like social media as a general kind of thing. Like, I feel like it's a good thing to have in terms of keeping up to date with people, a way of communicating, a way of putting things, what you're doing out into the world. It's kind of an easy way of doing that. Of course, there are the pitfalls of social media that we all got to be aware of as well. So it's definitely like a double-edged sword at times, where you can find yourself scrolling endlessly and not getting anything else done. I mean, do you find just that as an issue, or do you have like ways of making sure you don't fall into those sort of traps?
Having other stuff to do, like when you got something like deals and work, like I am as far as like Twitter, I'm a liker. I'm not really a poster. Like I said, I really only post when I go live. I'll retweet some stuff. I don't really post on IG unless it's like a big thing going on. But yeah, as far as scrolling, I don't know. I get bored easy. So I'll be like, all right, that's enough of this. Let me try and find something else to occupy my mind.
Yeah,
I don't know. No. Maybe that's ADD. Maybe there's a lot of ADD going on around. Maybe that's the day. I don't know.
Well, it's gonna be good for some.
I be getting no, or maybe it's just Twitter ain't what it used to be. I'll be getting bored on there.
Yeah, no, I mean, it used to be it used to be the kind of like the you know the
The
tweet
place
it.
to be.
Yeah,
Twitter
I
used
used
to
to.
be the place to be.
Yeah, like I used to be the guy who could like kind of like yourself, like you just mostly just like, and if you do tweet, you just kind of send one tweet and leave it alone. You used to tweet and skeet, you know, they just tweet
Yeah.
like that, just tweet and leave it alone. I used to be that guy. I do find lately I am scrolling a bit more than I
Mm-hmm.
like to. So I do actually have an app on my phone now that just
Mm-hmm.
cuts it off after a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
After about like 5 minutes, which just cut it off. So like, all right, cool. I've been on this too much, so let me go do something else.
So
Because yeah, it's real
my
easy to start scrolling
iPhone,
and stop without stopping.
yeah, my iPhone will tell me my screen percentage usage at the end of the week. So I'll be like, damn, I was wilding this week. Let me let me try to chill out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, have you? I mean, have you tried streaming on YouTube in any kind of serious way? Is it just something that
Uh-huh.
you just maybe just did one? Okay, and
No, yeah, I restream now. I kind of until I figure out a strategy for Kick, I'm kind of just chilling on Kick, and now I restream to Twitch and YouTube, and I'm still trying to find some time to what I want to record and feel like editing and then putting out as far
mm,
as that type of content. But yeah, I'm streaming to YouTube
is that through
regularly.
was it
Restream.
restream.io?
Yep.
Yeah, I used to use that to stream to both was it Twitch and YouTube for a little while.
Yeah,
Do you
and that's
find
just
though
the free
that
version. If you pay for it, you get up to 5 platforms at
oh
once.
yeah, I was a cheapskate. I just had a free version.
Yeah.
I was a cheapskate.
Same.
And maybe it's because I just had the free version. But do you find that when you're streaming to both platforms that you get more traffic or more, say, viewers on one side than the other?
Yeah. I mean, so definitely. My home platform is Twitch. That's where I've done majority of my legwork.
Okay, no, fair enough.
And
Yeah, yeah.
I'm to YouTube, I'm still a new creator and still trying to figure out tags and it's just funny trying to cater to two algorithms at once.
Hmm.
And the algorithms are not necessarily congruent. So it just takes some work.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's fair. I guess with you, it's a bit different because you started on Twitch, so you would have had an audience there just anyway.
Yeah.
But I think for myself, it was kind of weird when I was doing it because it just kind of felt like one stream had a better quality than the other. I feel like the Twitch stream ended up having a better quality.
But
If I
yeah,
was using
they do have different
Restream.io and
encoders.
that kind of thing, and then you'd get it was just kind of weird with the thing, but in the end, I just couldn't be bothered with it, and I was like, all right, let me just stick with YouTube. I'm not really a hardcore streamer like that, so I just thought, and I feel like in my experience with Twitch is I feel like with Twitch, it caters more to the people who are being more consistent.
Hmm.
Like if you're someone like myself who just like goes on and just talks bullshit for like an hour, I feel like YouTube's probably a better platform for that, just because like you could just kind of get on your phone, go live, and it doesn't really matter so much. And I think because YouTube does focus more on the videos, whereas Twitch
Yeah, I
was
feel like
primarily a gaming platform, I feel like it kind of caters that a little bit better. But yeah, if I feel like if
absolutely.
yeah.
So like my streams go up as videos and as far and the view difference of when I'm live versus maybe like after a couple days is completely different.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I think like if you have the VODs on Twitch,
Yeah.
you might get one, two
And
people watching it, but that
yeah.
if
And
well,
then they also add on Twitch they pretty much add those numbers together. Like
oh, your
they
stream
add
numbers
the
and your VOD number.
congruent
Okay.
with the actual live number versus the ongoing. Yeah, I believe they add those two numbers together. So yeah, so that's a thing in and of itself.
Mm. Yeah, I think YouTube, I believe, does kind of the same thing. Like once you've gone live, you'll see your live numbers or whatever, how many people watch you live, and then it just adds it to how many people watch it after that. But I do find that like you can, I mean, I guess it depends. I mean, because these algorithms just work so weird. So you might do a stream one day and get loads of viewers, and think, oh, okay, cool, awesome, and then nobody watches the VOD afterwards, and then it could be the other way around. Like you get hardly any viewers and loads of people watch the video. It's difficult trying to figure these things out. So I just don't.
Yeah.
I just don't.
It really is.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm like, let me just go do whatever I'm doing and let the machines do the rest. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, that's a stress-free route. I mean, that's pretty much kind of what I do. It's kind of what I do as well. It's like I'm bringing y'all me. What it does, and I'm try and keep doing what I can to learn how to like do me better, I guess, for a lack of, or make me more palatable, or a lot of it is just discovery. That's really what it is.
Yeah, but I see you got like a lot of the Funko Pops in the back. I mean, are those new? Because I think in the last one, and maybe the camera's a bit closer, maybe just didn't see them. But yeah, you got quite a lot of Funko Pops. So is that?
Oh no, I've gotten a bunch new in the past 2 years. I feel like that full top row is different. I have like 5 on the side of me right here. I have 2 new ones right here. Yeah, I think I'm close to 30.
Okay, I'm not sure how many I've got. No, I don't think it's that many. I've probably got like I'm gonna say about 10, maybe 15. There's a few up there as well. You can't. I don't think you can see them on camera, but actually, maybe you can see a few blurry ones in the background. Actually, got a Blanca over here. Ken, Akuma, Ryu, and Vegeta. Vegeta. Balrog, Dan, and Stranger Things. Flipping, I've forgotten the name, but yeah. Oh, here's one's keeping my desk though.
So I got. I have Edge. No, that's fire.
Yeah, had to get China. Legendary.
Yeah,
legendary. They did it dirty. Should be in a Hall of Fame by now, but
absolutely.
Legendary.
But you know how that goes.
Yeah, indeed. And well, technically she is in a Hall of Fame, but as she should be in a Hall of Fame as a solo wrestler, not just as part. I mean, DX being as part of Hall of Fame as part of DX is cool. Like saying that that's not nothing, but she should be there as a solo wrestler as well.
I feel like the most recent one I got was WWE. I got Edge.
Edge. Yeah.
Edge's Funko came out right before he left.
Oof.
I have a glow in the dark Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. I have a Sasuke, Brooke from One Piece, Sasuke's daughter. I have Arthur from Fire Force. I have Mirio from My Hero. And then I have a bunch of Boruto. I have 2 Persona 5 ones.
Do you not open yours, by the way, or do you just keep all yours in a box?
No, I haven't opened one yet.
Not. So this is just wrong for you then.
Oh no, everybody. No, I don't do that. Whatever people's decision is their decision. Yeah. But yeah, no, I haven't opened one yet.
Yeah, I've
23 in the box.
I think I've got 1 or 2 that I've not opened, but yeah, mostly I open them and display them. I guess it comes down to I like them. I think they're cool. I'm maybe not as hardcore into collecting as I used to be. So for me, just having something cool to put on the shelf, I'm fine with that. I'm not planning on reselling them or anything like that. Well, that's a lie. I did sell a couple, but you didn't get much for them. but I don't think I've got what I paid for them back. It's like, all right, flipping out, right? Fine. But yeah, I was never too bothered about not opening them. I'll just open them up and put it on my shelf. But I guess, I mean, do you see them more as collectors and something that you might resell later on, or is it just more for the aesthetics of the box as well?
Yeah, it's mainly box aesthetics for me. I don't have a plan to sell them. I guess if I get one that's rare and like after like a couple years or like a decade or so, if I see one that I have that shoots up in price, I would entertain it. But yeah, no, mainly just I as a youth, I was really hard on figures. like like I was trying to be an action director, so and my movie scenes was really hard for my figures. My Power Rangers wasn't always coming back with all their appendages.
Oof, yeah.
So so this might be protecting them from me, if anything.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, they chilling.
Yeah, and I would say if you are gonna sell any, yeah, don't bother sell like the regular ones because like yeah, they just won't you. I mean, you might pay. I don't know what. I guess I don't know what it costs in America. In the UK, they average about sort of £10. So I imagine about $10 in the US. Would that be about right? For $10 to $15?
Yeah, give or take. Give or
Yeah.
take. And then there are exclusive ones that go for more, newer ones go for more than when they do like limited edition, limited prints.
Yeah, the limited edition ones. If
But
you can get
the
a hold of those, they might be
Mhm,
worth selling in the future.
mhm.
But yeah, the regular ones, yeah, don't bother. You whatever you paid for them, you're not going to get that back. You know? If you're
Yeah.
lucky, you'll get half. Like that, you won't. But yeah, if you can find like a limited edition or anything like that, that might be worth something in the future. Like I know
I
the
just want to
limited.
keep them for real. Like there was someone I was talking to on Discord. I don't even remember where or when, but they had like a room and all three walls that were in the
Yeah,
camera view were lined full of Funkos, and I'm like, that's fire. I want that one day.
yeah.
So
Well, it's a
yeah.
start. But yeah, speaking of wrestling, you mentioned about things being a good year for wrestling, and well, I get for good year for everything. But I mean, how I mean, do you? Because the last time we spoke here was you were talking about people leaving a lot of fans leaving WWE to watch AEW. Is that still the case, or do you think people move back to
Um
WWE now?
so so Vince is gone.
Oh yeah. That was some big
Vince is
news.
gone for multiple reasons. And
Not good
Triple
reasons.
H is in charge. So,
Mm.
so in the minds of the wrestling community right now, WWE is cool again.
Okay. Okay.
They're selling out arenas. They're doing decent storylines, and it's cool again. So, a lot of people or a lot of casuals are joining WWE. A lot of fans who. So I'm not with, and it's a topic on Twitter, but so AEW was always supposed to be an alternative. A lot of
Mm.
people jumped on them being an alternative. A lot of people did not necessarily want an alternative. They just wanted WWE to be better. So once WWE got better, they kind of just went back because that's what they really wanted at the whole time.
Mm.
Unfortunately, some of them on their way back are shitting on AEW, which is unfair in most of our eyes. But it is what it is, and people are gonna do what they do.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
am not fully as far as which company I prefer still. I still prefer AEW just because of the talent, the mentality, the perspective of how they look at wrestling versus I feel like WWE is still WWE and they're still the juggernaut that they have been for 4 decades going on 5, and they're gonna be what they're gonna be. But I have really enjoyed Tony Khan's vision. Tony Khan's looked at wrestling. I actually went to my first WWE show this year though. I
Okay.
went
Was that?
to I went to Survivor Series. They came to Chicago. Shockingly, that was the one that Punk came back on.
Nice. Oh, you got a punk T-shirt as well. Is that a punk
Actually,
T-shirt?
no. This is my shirt for my podcast. We just
Oh,
put the
okay.
Chicago flag on it. I actually don't own any wrestling merch,
Okay.
and I'm tight about it because as long as I've been watching wrestling, for me to not have one shirt is insane. I used to have some Degeneration X wristbands though.
Yeah.
Love those. I don't know where those went. Lost those at several houses ago.
Mm,
But
yeah.
I pro Punk is such an interesting person to even think about today, but I probably would still get some CM Punk merch. Punk is still one of my favorite wrestlers.
Yeah. So
He's just an interesting guy.
he's back in WWE after leaving, I guess,
Yeah.
some years back, and he was in UFC, I think, for a little
About
while, and
about 15 years.
15 years ago. Oh snap!
Yeah.
It was that long.
He
Oh
walked out. He walked out in 2014.
damn! Because I remember that sit down pipe bomb
Oh, so about
thing that he
10.
did,
Sorry, I
and
meant sorry, it's been about 9 going on 10.
oh okay.
Yeah, he walked out in 2014.
And I feel like till this day, people still wonder whether that whole thing was like real or
Oh
part of
no,
the
that was
story, and
legit.
like,
No, that was
but
legit. Vince dead ass fired him on his wedding day.
oof. But he definitely left it on real bad terms. So
Yeah.
but yeah, as you said, Vince is gone, and I guess now that Vince is gone, it kind of opens the door for CM Punk and maybe other people who didn't get along with Vince McMahon to
Mm-hmm.
potentially come back. I mean, how's that been since he's been back though? I mean, is it worth the wait? Is it just like what's the point? Because he's older now. Maybe I don't know if is he still as good? Is he? What's going on with CM Punk? Because I don't think I've heard much from him since
So
he's come back actually.
so CM Punk is very interesting. So he was in AEW for about 2 years. I loved those matches. Like those matches were great. They were he had a dog collar match. He had several world title matches. That so he came back at Survivor Series in WWE. He was in the Royal Rumble and he got injured in the Royal Rumble.
Oof, damn.
So for this entire year, he's only had that one match. However, his character work and with storytelling right now is amazing because he's still finding relevancy while injured. I think he's just now like preparing to come back. He had a torn shoulder or something with his arm. And I think now he's on his way back, but they've found a way to utilize him pretty well, and he also has been going down to NXT and contributing there. A lot of the thing with one of CM Punk's gripes when he was with AEW was he felt the younger talent were not necessarily receptive to his veteran knowledge,
Mm.
or there were some people that just didn't want the knowledge from him. And so now it is nice that he's going back to NXT and um doing that, but also in NXT it's just different structures. Like you have to listen to what
Mm.
they say in WWE. It's not necessarily a thing of it's a machine.
Yeah.
And you know what it's like working at an established company versus, for lack of better words, a startup. Like AEW is only 5 years old.
Hmm. So there's
But
like things more in place where you just cannot change them, or you're less likely to be able to change them. Whereas with AEW, they might be a bit more willing to listen to you because you maybe got more experience. The company's been around, so
you also gotta be cognizant of, yes, the message you're trying to deliver, but who you are as the messenger and how people view you
mm,
as the one trying to deliver this message.
yeah, yeah.
So that's fine. It clearly was not a fit, but I enjoyed the time that he had in AEW. Hopefully he can stay healthy and keep these the good storylines that he have going on. Hope those can keep going. It's gonna be good TV.
So there's a wrestler on the Oxford belt that I'm kind of a fan of. That I've always felt when she was in WWE never really got like a fair shake. And she's since left or might have been fired. I'm not really sure exactly what happened. but it also seems like maybe not a lot of people appreciate her talent. So let me ask you, what do you think of Ashley Sabera, formerly known as Dana Brooke?
Wait, sorry, I cut out a little bit. Ashley, who?
Ashley Sabera, that's her real name. But
Uh-huh.
she used to wrestle as Dana Brooke, which was in WWE.
Oh, uh,
She's now
so
Ash by
that's
Elegance
hilarious.
in
Yes,
Impact Wrestling.
Ash by Excellence in TNA. Um,
Oh yeah, TNA is not Impact. Sorry, they call it TNA now. My bad. Was it TNA? Whoa,
yeah,
Impact. Yeah,
so it was originally TNA, then it was Impact, and then I think at the beginning of this year they went back to
back to
TNA.
TNA. Okay, so yeah, Ash by
Yeah.
Elegance in TNA. But yeah, she. I'm not sure if she got fired or she left. Maybe a little bit of both. I'm not really
I
sure,
believe she
but
did get released from WWE. I have not seen. So my Thursdays, coincidentally, are just always hectic. So I really don't ever get a chance to watch TNA. But I do think that it was really funny that, not funny, haha, but like funny, weird, that as soon as she was starting to get a little, because they sent it down to NXT and she was
yeah,
doing a thing in NXT. And then that's when she got released.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
hope, but now there's also a WWE and TNA like partnership. So technically
Interesting.
she can go back, or she's working in. I don't know. Uh, I don't know. There's a NX. They call it NXTNA. It's like AEW's Forbidden Door with New Japan.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and so online they're calling it the Prohibited Portal instead of the Forbidden Door. So yeah, I hope she's been doing well in TNA, and I hope she's happy over there and been used well.
Hmm. Yeah, like I remember when she turned up in WWE, she was like what's that girl's name? Charlotte Flair's lackey at the time,
Yeah.
and I always kind of felt like, I mean, as you know, I'm not the guy who's watching wrestling that closely as I used to, but for the bits that
Mm.
I have watched, I always kind of felt like there's a really talented wrestler in there that for some reason they're not letting come out, and
Well,
they're
yeah,
putting her on these.
that's been a thing with WWE for a while, of quote unquote holding talent back as far as ring wise.
Hmm,
And some of it, a lot of it was Vince. A lot of it was Vince, especially on the women's side of as far as technical ability. But no, like I do know for a fact that there are women wrestlers that go out there and watch like Swerve and Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay and Brian Danielson and be like, I want that for us too. Like, I know the women want to go out there and have 30-minute Iron Man matches and hard.
hmm,
There's a quiet as kept. There is an insane, like, there's an insane body of like female death matches, of like really crazy female hardcore matches in AEW. like,
hmm.
like that, the women there go crazy. They take it there. They women don't usually bleed. They bleed. They use weapons. It's out there, and it is on AEW. I feel like TNA. I've always heard TNA having an amazing women's roster and always putting on good matches. And I feel like now might be when WWE is probably putting on their best quality of women matches,
Hmm.
just because Triple H and all of the match producers that they have that do go for bat for women's wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, but talking about like the sort of history of women's wrestling, like the Attitude Era
Yeah,
kind of says it all, doesn't it?
bra and panties matches. Yeah,
Like of course, at the time at the time I would have been a teenager, like sort of late teens, early 20s. So at the time, it's like, yeah, awesome. But you
yeah,
kind of look back on it and think, yeah, that really didn't do anything outside of, giving you a
It
stiffing.
popped. It popped a rating,
Well, yeah, I guess
but
that
it didn't
too.
do too much for the culture.
But yeah, I mean, it's something that, of course, you can't go back to. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
as we talk about Attitude Era, and I mean, I know we kind of talk about with kind of rose tinted glasses to some extent, and it was a lot of fun for sure. I ain't trying to say that, but then at the same time, there's a lot of things that happen at Attitude Era that really, you just can't go back to. Like,
Right.
it's yeah. But I think maybe part of the issue, and perhaps you could speak to this as well, maybe part of the issue is that Vince McMahon, although he was moving on from the Attitude Era mainly because of like advertising, at some level wanted to kind of maintain that in some way, and perhaps that's where some of the issues were. Like, you're trying to maintain something where society's kind of moved on, advertisers have moved on.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, like, women have talked about how, like, even as far as a couple years ago, under the Vince's administration, or whatever you want to call it, that it was impressed upon them to be sexy, not wrestling. Like, looking good, but not necessarily having to work on your in-ring skills or promo skills or anything like that. And I have seen a change. I've seen a change under Triple H. There's still some wild shit that goes on, but that's kind of life at that point. I do feel like like this past Saturday, it was Money in the Bank, and the women's Money in the Bank match was really good. Credible winner won. I think even last year the Money in the Bank match was really good. Yeah, now is a good solid time for women's wrestling.
What, the WWE or just women's wrestling in general?
In general, but yeah, in WWE is good too now.
Okay.
One match we're waiting for eventually Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair.
Jane Cargill. Okay, yeah, I think I know Jane
Jade
Cargill.
Jade was originally from AEW.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the one with
mad muscles. She
yeah.
is eased.
I
And
forgot, yeah,
she
because
is
seen like people tweet
fine.
her, right? And it's like, okay,
She is
there's like
stacked,
what,
and that is a baddie
how many
right
abdominal
there.
muscles they get? Like 25 or something. That's just muscles. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
no.
All right.
She a
Well, you've been
baddie, and she's married to like a MLB
doing the
player.
setups.
So the bread is there regardless.
She's married to who?
I think she's married to like a MLB player.
Oh,
I think
baseball.
someone that plays for like the Atlanta baseball team or something like that. Yeah, honestly, a beautiful family, but yeah, she fine.
Well, we're talking about wrestling. We got to talk about, perhaps in many people's eyes, one of the greatest wrestlers to ever grace the squared circle, who recently announced his retirement. The man who
John
nobody
Cena.
sees.
So yeah.
What's your thoughts on John Cena? Because he's definitely had his, loves and hates over the years.
I hated John Cena for so long. I could not stand John. But I well, I understand. As an adult, I understand the position he was in for a lot of the what people would call the bad times. They're like, you are the company man. We need, unfortunately, the one leading the ship is a madman, but what he asks you to do, you go out there and do. Decision he makes, you go out there, you be a company man, you be a team player, and you do what you do to the best of your ability. I, as a 30-year-old man, I can say I highly respect John Cena. And I kind of turned around on John maybe about like 2017. 2017, he came back from injury. He was taking more of a part-time role. Like you could see that the guard had changed. And I was messing with him. He was United States champion. He was doing open challenges with the young guys, putting them over. And since then, it's been less of that because he's been, out there being a movie star. But it's still more of the same of him making sure that WWE is good going forward without him. So I'm a little tight because another great wrestler that he actually was formerly related to also announced a year reunion tour last year. So I just thought that was a little funny. Brian Danielson.
Oh right, yeah. Oh yes,
this
of
is
course.
all
Through
so
marriage, yeah.
This is his last full in year. So after this year, he's probably more into like sporadic special attraction, like part time. So and it's funny because they used to be brother-in-laws. So I'm going to compare they last year road tour. But no, all respect to John. I felt he need to let that shit go and get some hair plugs. I don't know what that bald spot is not doing it for me, John. I've been
Hey,
like,
don't knock the
you've
baldy.
always had
Don't
to
knock the
fade.
baldy.
You've always had to fade, but he got a sunroof now. You got money. You can afford the surgery.
Speaking of Bryan Danielson, actually, or Daniel Bryan as he was in when he was in WWE, like the feud that you had with John Cena, I do remember that. That was a really cool feud. And I remember like one, I guess, kind of face off that they had one time when Daniel Bryan was talking about, how when he was in Japan, the wrestlers would slap each other to psych themselves up, and I'd love to do that to you, but I won't because you're not a wrestler. And that was like one of the best insults in WWE
He still is on that type of time, actually. Yeah. But yeah, that was great. I do remember that. That was going into their SummerSlam match.
But yeah, I mean, for John Cena, I guess there's times where I was a fan of his and times where I wasn't so much. And, I did enjoy his Thugonomics era, especially absolutely. The beginning of the Thugonomics era when that started. They would come out and with these raps, before
he dropped a rap album, for real.
Yes, yeah. That was pretty good, though. Have you heard it?
That was
it's pretty good. that one track.
But you know what? You know who told me? I had never listened to it until Bundy told me to listen to it one day.
Okay.
And I listened to it in the car, and I was like, "Damn, John doing that? It's John going crazy."
It's pretty good. Like, there's one track on it that is my favorite track on the album. I'm sure many people's favorite tracks as well. But it's called "Bad Man" with Bumpy Knuckles. And John Cena's verse on that is sick. Like the dude's all like off. Like there's three people on this track here. John Cena goes first. At the end of John Cena's verse, or towards the end of his verse, he says something like, "After I rock, fast food for the rest of the song." There's still two more people to go. He said he just fast forward for the song. Like, come on. But Bumpy Knuckles, his verse of that track was pretty sick too. He's like blood and guts. So I was mashing your face. But yeah, no, the album's alright though. Still, like, album's alright.
Even his theme song, he got a line in there, untouchable, but I'm forcing you to feel me. That's hard.
Yeah, but I forget how it goes, but yeah. Like I forgot it, but yes, yeah. He's had a few good theme tunes, I think, John Cena. I think he's had at least 3 different theme tunes. Like the Word Life one is one that keeps coming to my mind right now. Word Life. This is basic fun numbers. I think that was one of his earlier ones. But then he's had some afterwards. But yeah, I think he's had some pretty good theme tunes over the years. Like, I mean, I don't know if I say, I feel like, I mean, in terms of like best wrestler theme tunes, though, for myself personally, I still think it's Kurt Angle's one that he had when he was in TNA. Sick. That theme track was sick. And big respect to Jim Johnson, who did a lot with WWE and did some
Mm-hmm.
great songs with WWE, and some, some of the best most memorable theme tunes, and for any,
Absolutely.
of course, any generation. But yeah, that one that Kurt Angle had in TNA, yeah, that was, yeah, that was sick. That was
So
sick.
one of my favorite ones is Metalingus, is Edge's theme.
Okay, yeah.
And
You think you know
so
me?
he originally, so most people when they leave companies, they don't get to keep their themes. But he has such a rapport with the band that when he went up, because Edge left WWE and went to AEW, and now he's Adam Copeland, his actual like government name. They re-recorded the theme for him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wait,
they gave
okay,
him.
so hold on a sec, because I might miss this bit in. So Edge, I know he retired for a while because he had an injury and he came back
Uh-huh.
to
Mhm.
WWE. So he actually left since then.
Mhm.
Oh, and now he's in AEW as just Adam Copeland.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, okay.
He was recently the TNT champion, which is like one of their mid card titles. He actually is injured right now. He broke, crazy bastard. He broke his leg jumping off a steel cage.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
trying to do an elbow drop to somebody through a table.
But these guys put their bodies through so much, man. Like, but do
Yeah. But he should be back shortly.
you reckon he'll come back to WWE, or do you reckon this is it for him? Because
Oh no, he's coming
Christian
back to
left a while
AEW.
ago, didn't he? Right?
Christian to AEW.
Yeah. So it's Edge and Christian both in AEW now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, you know
So
what? Actually,
with
come to think, I think I did see that. And
yeah,
didn't
and
didn't
Christian has been doing. This has been the run of Christian's career. Honestly, this has been his best work.
didn't they do something where I think when they got together in AEW and everyone's all cheering, oh yeah, Edge and Christian back together, and I think like Edge told to go fuck himself or something like that. Was that right?
Christian told Edge to go fuck
Oh,
himself.
oh, it
Yeah,
was the other way around. Okay.
they hugged and then he was like, no, because Edge wanted to get the band back together. He wanted them to be a tag team again. He was like, no, I've been doing amazing with you not around.
Yeah. Yeah, we ain't friends no more. But Edge's career is something to be studied.
Remember when they were brothers? Like when everybody told them they were brothers in WWE?
Well, it was like Edge and Christian with Gangrel, if you remember that. That's going
Yeah.
back to Attitude Era. They would come out with Gangrel through. That was a pretty cool entrance, by the way. Gangrel's entrance was pretty sick. It would come out through the crowd with like me, dun, 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 dun. The Brood. That was in the Brood.
So Edge and Christian had a match a couple months ago, and Edge brought out Gangrel
In AEW.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was good to see Gangrel. He came up through the ring.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Gangrel, because he was like, what was he? Could be like in his 60s by now or something. Like he
still looks the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gangrel, like I remember seeing Gangrel like for the first, or maybe not for the first time, but certainly one of the early times I can remember seeing him just like coming out of this, and he had the blood that he would drink and spit it out. It was such a cool kind of scary image. But then at that time, I think I'd only really just started watching wrestling again recently. So I think, and then I don't know if he left or maybe got injured or something, but I know he was there for a little while, and then it was just Edge and Christian doing their own thing.
Were you ever a fan of Sting?
Sting, oh yeah, Sting. I mean, Sting going back to like, before TNA you had WCW, and then before that was NWA. Was it NWA? NW something.
NWA.
But yeah, I remember Sting from like the 80s.
If okay, so Sting had a retirement match in WWE that was complete ass. It was just him getting beat up by old ass DX members.
Oh I remember that. Yeah, that was dumb.
If anyone watching this, including you, wants to see what I would call the perfect retirement match, as far as respect, as far as the plan moving forward after you're gone, Revolution this past year, Sting's retirement match was done beautifully.
Revolution, which
AEW Revolution.
AEW, okay.
It's the pay-per-view. Yeah. He had a retirement match, him and Darby Allin, which is like his protege. versus the Young Bucks. Matt and Nick Jackson, which they've been all over New Japan, our Ring of Honor, they were in TNA as Generation Me. That's the Young Bucks. And yeah, it was from March of this last year, March 24. Beautiful retirement match. Sting's two sons came out in old Sting gear. They looked huge. They looked just like Sting. That was a beautiful match to watch. I implore y'all to go out and check that one out.
Yeah, I definitely do remember the one they did in WWE where it was like such a big deal because, of course, Sting hadn't been in WWE before, and it was like a big deal coming over, and he had this match, and you say it was just him getting beat up by Triple H, and all he did, it was just dumb. It was like
Road really Dogg and shit. Yeah, no.
And I was like, what the hell? Like nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. Like nobody was impressed by that. It was so stupid, and it was such a huge missed opportunity where you got somebody of Sting, somebody's had a career of Sting just to do that, and it's like it's like on Sting's part, you have to wonder like, why did you even agree to that? Because the bag must have been big. Because it's not like you need the money. Like the bag must have been huge if they got him to agree to that. So I just hope Sting got paid.
Yeah,
I hope Sting got paid.
Amazing send off to the icon.
But yeah, and I'll just see if I could check out that one. But yeah, man, Sting's old school. Like I say, he was going back to was it NWA? I'm pretty sure it's called NWA, National Wrestling Association back in the 80s.
Northwestern. Oh, National Wrestling Alliance.
National Wrestling Alliance, and he had a brief kind of team up with the Ultimate Warrior, way back in the day. Like I think before WWE or WWF, of course, was back then. But yeah, man, Sting is legendary. Legendary. So yeah, for WWE to do that to him is just like, yeah, that's not okay. I don't care that he wasn't a WWE guy. Nah, it's just not okay. That there's certain things you just don't do, and that's.
And then we didn't even get Taker versus Sting like that. Like I thought that was the point of what was done of him coming in.
If I remember correctly, actually no, Taker didn't retire then, did he?
No,
Taker hadn't retired by then.
He was old, but no, he wasn't. I don't think he was fully retired at that time.
Yeah, he was like. Yeah, I think he wasn't resting as much, but I don't think he had actually retired by then. So yeah, I mean, Taker versus Sting would have been awesome. And you know what would have been really awesome? If you had Taker versus Sting at WrestleMania, and that was like when the streak ended. You know what I mean? That would have been awesome.
They definitely wouldn't have did that shit. They would not have done that at all.
I mean, yes, it's a hard sell. I'm sure. It's a hard sell.
They would not have done that to. They would not have even let people think that they were saying that WCW was better, which is why we got what we got. I don't even think the NWO came out. It was crazy.
Yeah, they had Brock Lesnar beat. Actually, I wasn't too mad at Brock Lesnar beat Undertaker.
I wasn't either.
I wasn't too mad about it.
Brock's a monster. Always.
Sure. He's I mean, I guess right now Brock's has his own controversies as well. But at the time I wasn't too mad at it. But then I'll tell you what was done when they brought him back and they had
Roman beat him?
Roman Reigns beat him, because don't get me wrong, Roman Reigns great. Big respect to Roman Reigns. But at that point, it's just like, what's the point? You know what I mean? It's like you've already ended the streak.
After he had just beaten Bray Wyatt. Like Bray needed rest in peace, Bray, for sure. But that Bray needed that more than anybody.
Right. So it's just like it's just it doesn't mean anything. It's just, I mean, clearly it didn't hurt, Roman Reigns' career. He's doing very well right now, I believe. But at the time, it was just pointless, But yeah, speaking of Bray Wyatt,
Taker's doing comedy shows now. Wild.
Taker's doing comedy shows. Okay.
Yeah, Taker's doing comedy shows now.
Really? Well, stand up.
That's what he wants. That's what he wanted to do in his retirement. He's doing stand up and podcasts.
Hey, why not? Why not? If you can make him laugh, make him laugh.
I think it was like I think it was called Dead Man Stand Up. Actually, it was something.
Dead Man Stands Up. Oh, I'm about to
I
check that out
think
still.
so. I think so. It was crazy. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could laugh at Taker. Like I don't know if I don't like that's still Taker to me. I don't know if I can laugh at the Undertaker.
I mean, if it's funny, I'll check it out. But
Yeah,
I know he has a podcast. I've listened to a lot
he
of his podcasts,
does.
but I know he has a podcast like something with Mark Calloway or something like that. He was
Yeah.
interviewing, I think, Tony Hawk's at one time. Um,
Mhm.
so, but I haven't listened to a lot of his podcasts, so I'm gonna try and get a few episodes of that when I can. But yeah, if he's doing stand up, I'll check that out. It's probably, I mean, it's probably not funny. Here's what I'm guessing, and I could be completely wrong, but I'm guessing it's a type of comedy that's only funny if you're like you kind of in, with the joke.
I don't
That's
know
what
if
I'm
he does
guessing.
wrestling jokes. I don't know. I
That's what
need
I'm
to see a
guessing.
trailer.
I,
Like I
I
need
could
to
be
see a
completely
trailer
wrong.
before I buy a ticket or something. I
He
don't
could
know.
be a natural. He could be the next,
Yeah, he
big
could be
stand-up
the
Kevin Hart
funniest
comedy.
motherfucker in
You
the
know what I mean?
world,
I
but
don't know.
that's
I'm just
just
guessing right now. But yeah, it's
it's
definitely
weird him not in
piques
a
my
trench coat.
interest. People
Like
have
he
to
don't
laugh or
even
he
come
kills
out in
them.
the gimmick anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, Bray Wyatt passed away. As you
Yeah.
mentioned, Wyndham Rotunda, and that was pretty shocking because he was what 30 something. Was that right?
He was
He
like
was a young dude,
36.
and it wasn't
I think
that
he was like
long
ago.
um
No.
after sorry, I'm blanking on the name. But he, the
The
former Wyatt
Thing.
member, um,
Oh, Brody Lee.
Brody
Yeah.
Lee. Yeah, it wasn't that long after he passed away. Like maybe like a year or so, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Actually, Brody Lee, so AEW has some type of because he was over there, they have some type of deal with Reebok. Like a
Okay,
couple months ago, they came out with a Young Buck shoe, but like 2 weeks ago, they came out with a Brody Lee shoe.
2 weeks. Okay, they're just
Yeah.
capitalizing on his. I mean, they
I
wouldn't be the
mean,
first. They
no,
wouldn't
it
be the
goes to his
first.
wife and son. His wife and son worked with AEW
Oh, okay.
to
Oh, so it's to
yeah,
help
his
them.
wife
Oh,
and
okay. No, fair. I'll
yeah,
take that
yeah.
back then.
His
My
wife
bad. My bad. I'll take that
still
back. I'll take that
does
back.
still works with AEW. And yeah, they were able to collaborate and get a whole Reebok put out for him. It's purple, it's black and purple. It look nice. I ain't gonna lie. I don't even I ain't had a Reebok in years, but it looks nice.
Yeah, over here,
Yeah.
Reeboks are pretty much associated with chavs. So,
But
I
yeah.
mean, I wouldn't say they're not cool, but yeah, you're pretty much walking into chav territory if you're wearing Reebok. So,
I mean, you never know. New Balance was lame when I was a kid. Now Rebalance is the shit for real.
mm. But yeah, Bray Wyatt though had one of the best promos I've ever seen in wrestling.
Amazing talent.
Um, there was
Amazing
one.
mind.
Yeah, like I mean, his character, the East of World, and even like sort of, before that, I guess it's all kind of linked, really. His character kind of linked, but when he started in WWE and was, as with the White family, he was kind of like this cult
Mhm.
leader, and he just played that character so well. And there was
Yeah.
one promo that he did, I think on a SmackDown or something like that, where he was saying something like when the fires burned down the city, I was there. When something happened, I was there. And he just like went into this whole kind of like Latin thing, and it was just mad. I was like watching this guy like, yo,
As
is he for
far
real? Like,
as
is he into this stuff for real? Like, is that him? Like, like is that what we're watching right now? Like, he just played that character so well, So
like
yeah.
especially as far as WWE and that time, that was probably like around 2017, 2018. It
Mhm.
wasn't that many talkers that could make you feel something.
Mm,
And Bray Wyatt made you feel something. Like
yeah.
you could tell the conviction in his words that this was not just a character for him. Like this was
Mm,
like his life's work that he was living out.
yeah. Yeah.
And super untimely passing. Right now, his brother Bo Dallas.
Yeah.
He's he's got a couple talents, and they bringing Bray's vision back. The Wyatt Six is the name of the group, and they're a horror gimmick. They've been like damn near killing people, but but it's amazing. It is amazing in its own way. It is beautiful, and it's just good to see his dream being carried on, his vision being carried on.
Yeah, is it
And he
Uncle
had
something that he's called himself now? Or
Uncle Howdy.
Uncle Howdy, yeah.
And they have Eric Rowan, one of the other
Oh yeah.
original Wyatt family member. He's part of the group.
And
Yeah, I think they're also
somebody
getting
plays
Alexa
Sister
Bliss.
Abigail in that, right?
Yeah, Alexa Bliss is supposed to be coming back and doing Sister Abigail. She was with Bray when he was doing the Fiend gimmick.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I have seen. Well, I guess
Yeah,
you
no,
can tweet about it, but yeah.
She has not come back yet. So right now it's the group without her. I'm assuming they're bringing her in later for the Sister Abigail thing.
But yeah, man. He was just really amazing talent. So yeah, I'm just looking at it now. 36 years old. Yeah, 36 years old. August 2023. Man, young dude, man, young dude. But yeah, it's good that they're honoring him and what they did with the Wyatts with his brother. Because Bo Dallas, from what I can remember, I guess his career was kind of up and down a bit, and
he had his best run, and other than right now, he had his best run in NXT.
Yeah, it seemed like because I thought he came in, he had this whole game about, like, was it smiling or something? I can't remember what it was, but believe, that was it. Yeah. It was becoming like, I believe in you, and it was a bit corny and cheesy, but I felt like they could have done something with that. They could have really done something with that. And they were for a
little bit, and then I think he got injured.
Oh, okay. I might have forgot about that.
And then when he came back, they kind of just put him in BS after BS. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, like it just never really got his foot in, and like I think once you go from the main roster back to TNA, not TNA, sorry, NXT. I wouldn't say it's the end of your career. I don't think that's fair, but it definitely seems like.
Oh, now, I definitely agree with you a couple years ago, but now with Triple H in charge, he put Shawn Michaels in charge of NXT, so they treat NXT with a lot more respect now.
Okay, fair. Okay.
So it's not. A lot of people have gone backwards to NXT and had great runs. It can be beneficial depending. It's like a case by case basis, I guess.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And who knows? Maybe we'll see Dana Brooke turn back through this. Was it?
She probably will. But my question is going to be, what are they going to call her? Like, are they gonna call her Dana Brooke again, or are they gonna respect her current TNA name?
They need to put some respect on it for real though, because they done her dirty, man. They done her dirty.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about some anime now though, because you're not just a big wrestling fan, of course. You're a big anime fan, so I'd be remiss if we didn't speak anime. Is that the right word to use? Remiss. I think that's the right word to use.
Yeah.
I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about anime. Let's talk a little bit anime. Especially, I've been watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure recently.
I have
not. You have, okay. It's
I still need
weird.
to get into JoJo's. JoJo's is weird, but it's also beautiful and quirky.
Yeah.
I need to get into it. Them first two arcs was rough on me. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so what have you seen up to?
I've seen up. I did not make it to stands.
Okay,
so I didn't make it to. I didn't make it to season 3.
Okay, so season 1 and 2, like the
Yeah.
first. Yeah, okay. I mean, they're all on Netflix, by the way. So yeah, at least in the
Oh,
UK, they
okay,
might be
cool.
different in America. I don't know, but they're all on
Oh, true.
Netflix in the UK at least. So I've been watching it there, and I've watched so far up to season 4. So I've just got 5 and 6 to go. I won't spoil nothing for you, but I would
I
say
heard
that
6 is fire. I've heard amazing things, and the JoJo community is so crazy and so talented.
yeah. I mean, it's been definitely been pretty good so far, and I would say that it lives up to the name of being bizarre.
Yeah.
It definitely lives up to the bizarre
But
name they've given it.
I can't
But
talk
it's
because
it's
my
it's a good
favorite
show.
anime is One Piece, and One Piece is definitely weird as hell sometimes. So I
Animes
understand.
can get a bit weird, but I feel like the weirdness for me with JoJo just comes at times where it feels like it's bordering along pedophilia. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like it gets a little bit too close to pedophilia. I'm like, hmm. You know, just
Because they be
we don't
brolic
need
as
to see
hell,
that.
but they
Yeah,
definitely
we don't
they
need
be
to see that.
like they be built like Batista, but they definitely be like 17.
Right, yeah. And some of the like characters where at least I feel like they're depicted as like, preteens.
Mm.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think they always state their ages specifically. So who knows? Maybe they're supposed to be older. They just look young. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're certainly somewhat depicted as preteens, and you just look at them like, okay, I don't need to see your ass. I don't. You just can't. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it definitely gets a bit bizarre at times. But yeah, I mean, fair's play. The story they come up with, and the kind of characters they develop, and the whole thing about, yeah, I won't spoil it, but the stands and stuff like that, how that kind of interplays, and yeah, it's a pretty good overall story, if not just a bit weird.
Yeah.
Just a bit weird. It's like, all right.
But yeah, no. 2024 so far has been really good to anime. I believe in August we're getting the new Dragon Ball series, Dragon Ball Daima.
Okay.
We've just gotten announced dates for the new season of Fire Force and the new season of Bleach. Dragon Ball and Bleach just got a huge game announcements. Sparking Zero comes out in October. They just at the Bandai Showcase last week, they just announced the first Bleach console game in about 13 years. Jujutsu Kaisen is doing great. My Hero is ending, but they announced a new movie coming. From Solo Leveling. I even watched. So I'm also a Power Rangers fan. They have a couple of Sentai animes out. They have like Futo and P, which is Max Rider. They have Love After World Domination. So it's a love anime, but it's about a Sentai team, and the Red Ranger is in love with the main villain. So they like date
All right.
when they go on dates when they're not fighting aliens and shit. So
Because why not?
so
Why not?
he in love with the head witch of the enemy team. There's Go Go Loser Ranger, which is a new series from the perspective of one of the henchmen of the enemy teams. It's been good. Anime is in a good place. I just wish I had the time to watch.
That's a whole other thing as well, isn't it? It's time.
Yeah,
So much to do, so little time.
yeah.
So you just mentioned actually there's a new Dragon Ball series coming out. Would
Mhm.
that be, I'm guessing, the first Dragon Ball without Akira Toriyama?
Toriyama, yeah.
Yeah. How do
He
you think that goes?
he did a lot of it. Like he did a lot of the artwork, I'm
Okay, so
sure.
he's actually worked on this one before. Okay, I see, I see.
Yeah,
All right, fair.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh I'm a little iffy on it because it's just gonna be Goku and Vegeta turned into kids from the. But I'm going into it with an open mind.
Hmm,
Rest in peace of Toriyama-sama.
hmm.
That
Yeah,
was tough. Like
yeah.
I've lost two of my favorite authors in about the past 2 or 3 years, because Kazuya Takahashi, the author for Yu-Gi-Oh, he passed as well.
Uh, Rest in
Um,
peace, and to the countless unnamed.
yeah. So yeah, Takahashi and Toriyama, those two were rough.
Mm.
Actually, they haven't really announced. I mean, the Yu-Gi-Oh card game is still going on. They haven't really announced a new series, I don't think, though.
But
But
yeah.
yeah,
But that's one of the things about anime in terms of, like you just mentioned about time and stuff. One of the reasons why, I mean, I like anime and I do enjoy a lot of animes that I watch, but the time commitment can be rough. Like,
yeah.
some of them could be really, like, I mean, Naruto I think is like 1,000,000 episodes or whatever. Like, it's just long, and some of them even longer
A
than that.
lot of it, a
Yeah.
lot of it is filler too.
And it's like, okay, I know there's some of them do these things where like the fans put together like a compilation of episodes where you
Mm-hmm.
can watch and they take out all the filler.
Filler guide.
Yeah, which is cool and everything, but at the same time, I also feel like even though it's filler, it is still part of it. And if you're gonna watch somebody's artwork, you should watch the whole thing. So like, do you
True.
have time to commit to watching the whole thing, or that it comes down to, or at least maybe not every single thing, but certainly everything in a particular story, in a particular story
Oh,
arc, and that could be
and I have to shout out Spy Family. Spy Family has been dope. I went to go see the movie
Spy
actually.
Family. Is that an anime?
Yeah, Spy X Family. It's basically Mr. and Mrs. Smith if they adopted a kid, and the kid
Okay.
has telepathic powers. So, but that is an adorable, pretty much wholesome anime.
Okay. I think I've seen this. This is on Netflix, maybe. I don't know. But I'm sure. I feel like
It
I'm just
should be
looking at
on
it now.
Netflix, I think. Actually,
It looks like something I've seen before, or something else. The images, I mean, look like something I've seen before. So, all right, cool,
but
cool,
yeah,
cool.
if I know people, well, so I know some people get tired of like the typical shonen or fight anime. That's been a detour I've really enjoyed.
Mm. Um, so what's your favorite animes right now that you're watching?
Definitely One Piece. Still One Piece. I don't really know if I have time for anything else. Um, I know that. Oh man, one of my favorite manga actually just got an anime. Kaiju number 8. Hopefully, I can make some time to see that. I checked out the first like 7 or 8 episodes of Solo Leveling because that's what was out in English at the time. Solo Leveling is um I still really love Demon Slayer. Jujutsu Kaisen is cool. I need to finish it. I'm not finished. I'm not current on Jujutsu Kaisen. But yeah, those are pretty much what's on my radar at the moment. I just wish I had more time.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm speaking of time actually because I was talking with Sweet Bundy last week about these sort of things. As I mentioned before, that when you got a job you got to do, you got to work, you got to pay for this, you got to pay for that, you got these responsibilities, that responsibilities. Somebody needs to do this, somebody needs to do that. You get you're trying to organize your day, you're trying to fit things in, you're trying to take care of these things, take care of that things, trying to do all these things, and then it's like you're still trying to make time for your video games, for your movies, for your shows, and it just gets harder and harder and harder and harder. Like the moment you think you got time for yourself, somebody wants something. you know.
Yeah.
And what's funny actually is that I was reading, well, yeah, because I was kind of reading some stuff online about how to get good sleep, and I was going through all the sort of things you can do throughout your day in order to help you get a good night's sleep and just have not just long sleep, but also quality sleep. And I'm looking at
Yeah.
this thing and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I can understand it. But it also kind of occurs to me that as an adult, I don't think good night sleeps really exist because there's always going to be something that
I thought it was
disrupts
just
you.
me. I was
You
like,
know,
I was like, is it something I'm doing wrong?
you know.
Like, I still be tired when I wake up. Like,
Right. There's always something that's gonna like no matter how much
that's
you can
funny.
plan to do this, plan to do that, there's always gonna be something that disrupts it. So it's like, yeah, good night sleeps don't exist. Trying to find time to still be a geek, you know, and you still gotta do your job, you still gotta do this, you still gotta do that. I mean, do you how do you balance or do you balance it? I mean, I guess maybe the question should be like, how does it go for you?
No, uh, I don't even remember the last time I sat down and watched some anime. Unless, so like, I I guess my easiest way, if I do have time, is to like set up a Discord thing, like set up an event, like,
Mm,
hey, we're watching so and so, because I'm a watch party guy. If I
mm,
watch something by myself, I'm more than likely gonna fall off, just because I need somebody to keep me accountable. I need somebody to do commentary with, just to talk about the content.
mm,
So yeah, I do watch parties. Hey, let's link up. Let's watch this. You know, we can talk about it. We can have community building. But yeah, so
mm.
any that's actually my suggestion to everybody who wants to get through anything. Incorporate friends.
Okay,
Teamwork makes
yeah.
the dream work, and
Community.
yeah, y'all can get through that together.
Mm,
And then when y'all finish that, we all conquer that, y'all can move on to something else together.
mm. Yeah, that's not bad actually. I think anybody watching and listening, yeah, definitely check out the Henvincible Discord and see if you could get on that as some watch parties. You know, I mean, for myself, I feel like part of the reason I do, like even this podcast that I do, like part of the reason I do it, um, and even some of the other things I do, like with YouTube and stuff, like part of that is to have a reason to play
Do
video
it.
games or to watch movies, because like I do feel like it does get hard to justify doing something that doesn't pay
Absolutely.
you when you got bills to pay. And if it's like, okay, well, if I'm doing this for this, then it's a bit easier to be like, okay, that's why I'm doing it. But of course, you still got to find time and to do it,
And
and
at the same
you
time,
know,
it's just the grind is hard, y'all.
for sure, for sure.
Just daily fucking scratching and surviving is tough. And you gotta find some shit that makes you gotta find some little stuff around the way to make everything palatable.
Mm,
You have to reward yourself. You have to
yeah,
do things for yourself,
yeah,
not just for your company or not just for your family. You got to cater to you as well.
no, for sure, no, 100% agree with that, because I do believe actually that, I mean, you're always going to be the most important person in your life, right? You're always going to be the most important person in your life, because literally without you, your life isn't there. So
Yeah.
you're always going to be the
And
most important
burnout
person
is
in your life.
real,
You know,
not just for streamers,
yeah,
but for fucking desk workers and
yeah,
accountants and secretaries and lawyers. Like burnout is a real thing.
yeah. So yeah, you make sure you're doing things that fulfill you. Make
Mhm.
sure you're not just like, yeah, you're not just grinding, you're not just working, you're not just like plugging away or doing something because you think this is what people expect from you or whatever. Because I say you're the most important person in your life, but you're not the only person in your life. So yes, you do have to be, because you have to put yourself first, but you need to be considerate of others. It's
Yeah.
all like a balancing act, and I think the truth is we're not always going to get that balance right.
Right.
We're not always going to get it right. Sometimes we're going to lean too much in one direction and lean too much in another direction. But it's so kind of like an ever learning thing that you just kind of keep going. But once you realize that, okay, maybe I've done too much in one way, I need to stop,
Mm-hmm.
realign myself, position myself, and maybe I just need to do something else for a little bit, and
And
take a
I've
sick day,
found that even
pull off
in
work for a while.
2024, there are still people that don't really know themselves. There's still
Yeah,
people that still are trying to discover what their thing is. And that's
yeah,
fine. It's just you owe it to yourself to take the time to figure out what your thing is,
Yeah.
what you like you said, what fulfills you.
Yeah.
And you owe yourself to do it. Life is fucking short, man. Life is so short. You don't spend your time here fucking miserable, more miserable than we gotta be. We already got bills and other
Right.
shit. Just find some way to make yourself smile
Yeah, I
that
feel
don't
like,
hurt nobody else.
well, that's
As
important
long
too.
as yeah.
Don't hurt nobody. But yeah, I just think like society's kind of set up that way when you think about like, as a kid, you do what your parents tell you to do, right? You go to school, you do what your teachers tell you to do. You go to work, you do what your boss tells you to do. So you kind of spend a lot of your life being told what to do. And it's kind of weird because I can remember like being a kid and, it was always about encouraging you to think for yourself, like the whole thing about, oh, if everybody jumped off a fire, would you? That kind of thing. That would come up a lot. So it's like, it was very much encouraging you as a kid to think for yourself. But the more you get into like, teenage years and adult years, it feels
Adulthood
like,
is no. This is a
right, you know what
machine,
I
and
mean?
you
It's
are
like
a
the complete
cog.
opposite.
And get to work, damn it. That is
So it's kind of a madness. Like as a kid, you're being taught, trained, being encouraged to think for yourself. But the older you get, you're being encouraged to just do what everybody else does and just fall in line and shut your
but
mouth and get on with
just
it.
think about it. Like
You know?
I feel like our generation is the one changing that. Like our parents worked they ass off until they were fucking 70 and then was forced to retire and was 70 years old and didn't know what the fuck they liked. They didn't know anything about themselves because all they did was be a part of the machine. And
Yeah.
I feel like now we are finally getting to a level of we don't have to do that. We
Yeah.
can be successful working adults and still have lives that are not tied to our occupations.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think like things like YouTube and Twitch have been a big part of that shift, where you see people more and more making money in non-traditional ways, and it's become more and more of a thing. Like when I was a kid, like when I was in school, you ask people what they want to be when they grow up. Nobody thought about, I want to be a YouTuber. It's like, you mad? No, that wasn't even a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And the
people always say
idea,
astronauts, but until
right?
nobody knew what degree you needed to go into astronauting. Like,
But
can't
even
nobody tell me what degree you need to work at NASA.
yeah, but
Nobody
even
knows.
But even things like, making money playing video games, like back in like the 90s, that's
No.
that was like an alien concept. Like
Yeah, that was a pipe
unless you were like a games designer or something like that. And even then you probably wasn't, games designers back then probably weren't making a whole lot of money. So like,
Right.
The idea that you can make a living playing video games, like you mad? Like, but that's the reality of the world now. People are doing it, and enough people are doing it. It's the point where it's not just a phase that we're going to get over. Like, there's clearly a thing that's here to stay. So, like, I think it's fantastic that people more and more are finding alternative ways and non-traditional ways of making a living. My only kind of I don't know if wish is the right word to use, but my only kind of thing is that sometimes when you see people who make a lot of money in one of these non-traditional ways, you kind of wish that they got somebody to guide them, because like, people can make a lot of money real fast, and just as fast as they made it, they spent it and end up in more debt than they had to begin with. So like, that's the type of thing you want to see less of. But then you need good people around you. That's where I feel like the shame is, that you don't always have that.
Not to get too deep, but I kind of put that on the school systems. Like my high school, my college did not teach me financial literacy. I learned about savings accounts and life insurance after I was far removed from school.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Same.
unfortunately, they don't want they unfortunately we're not told, because for a certain section of the world, or whatever your background may be, the people that know don't want you to know, because then that makes what they know less valuable in their eyes, instead of each one teach one, which is how I was raised. So we got to do it ourselves. We have to know how to take what I got and build it for what we want. So my dad is a life insurance salesman. What he will work and insure with anybody, but his main goal is breaking the chains of generational poverty in the Black community.
Mm.
It says when they die, they leave wills. When we die, we leave bills. And he wants to change that. And yes, there are different people out there that are trying to help that for everyone. But until you meet that, you gotta figure out how to help yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. It has to start here and kind of trickle down. And that's the thing. Like, I mean, we weren't taught much about, and I guess I think to be fair, we did have a business studies class when I was in school, but we weren't really taught much about in terms of handling finances and stuff like that. At least not that I can remember. I wasn't
do
exactly a
you
great
remember
student, so maybe
during
I'm not a good example.
you remember during the pandemic when everybody was in the stock?
Oh right, yeah, well, it was like crypto and stuff like that.
Yeah, nobody taught us that. Like it was kind of a thing one day, and then we had to Google, and then you either went into it and then got out, or you went into it and now you're doing great. But it wasn't any classes for that. There wasn't, and people that were telling you about it, you had to take it with a grain of salt because you didn't know if they were trying to get over on you. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, you don't know enough about it to know if they're telling you, giving you good advice or not, you know?
Yeah, or if you just helping line their pockets and then you're going to end up broke. Because a lot of those cryptos did fail when, unfortunately, after the pandemic. But yeah, man, it's just taking the initiative to get the knowledge, and then when you get the knowledge, having the grace, I guess, to share it with people, because you don't know how many more people are like you, didn't know, and then but never took that extra step to figure it out. Because everybody learns differently, everybody receives messages differently, but that don't change that we got to help our people out now.
No, for sure. I know when I was like maybe about 20-ish, like 20, I want to say about 22, 23, that kind of age, I worked in sales and, you know, pretty decent at it. So I made quite a bit of money at the time, but also at the time, yeah, I was just spending money like a dickhead, like when I think about the money I was making at that time and had I been more sensible there, I could have been in a much better position. But also from those, mistakes I was making at the time is pretty much how I learned about financial literacy. Is like, okay, this is what not to do, right?
Yeah.
And
But
I
you still had to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Just imagine if there was someone there to provide a helping hand, or even if they didn't tell you what to do, they were available for questions that you might have had.
Yeah, just in terms of like, okay, here's some
many
guidance.
questions.
I mean, I think to be fair, at the time when you're young, you're always going to be doing stupid things anyway. But certainly, if you have a bit more of a guidance, then maybe you don't do as many stupid things.
Hopefully.
But I would say that one of the biggest lessons that I've learned over the years in terms of finances, and I feel like this is a kind of mistake that a lot of people make, is that you don't have to have a lot of money before you can have financial freedom. Like you can have financial freedom with no money at all. And also I feel like the other thing, that there's a massive difference between being broke and just not having a lot of money. Like there's people with like millions and they're broke, and there's people with barely anything and they're doing fine. You know what I mean? There's a massive difference between being broke and not having, like, being broke is a mindset of
I think being broke is subjective.
what you have. Like you might have £1 million, but if you can't handle £1 million, you're broke. But if you've got £1,000 and you know exactly how to handle that £1,000, you're gonna be doing okay. So like there's definitely like an understanding of, and I don't even think you necessarily need to be like super tight, like only ever do the most important things, and you can never ever anything. Of course you could have fun things. You can still do things that are just fun or just silly or whatever. You can still do that. but it's just also understanding frequency and amount. You know,
Absolutely.
how many times can you go on a
Wild out.
night out, and how much can you, yeah, exactly. How much can you wild out while you're wilding out? When you understand that, and it's like, okay, cool, I can do this. Then maybe next week I chill. 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 And then, okay, this time I can wild out a little bit, But yeah, just understanding things like that. You can take the money that you have and do pretty okay, even if you don't have that. Even if you don't have a lot of money, like, you can have financial freedom even if you don't have a lot of money. But it's just understanding the money you have and how to handle the money you have, what's really important to you, and not just trying to fit in with everybody else and have what everybody else has, and
Absolutely.
keeping up with the keeping up with the Joneses, or that kind of
Instagram will
thing.
make you think you broker than you are.
Right.
If you
Right.
just
Exactly.
going based off what everybody, because Instagram ain't people's lives, it's what people want you to see from their lives, and that'll have you hating your shit when secretly you're in a way better position than them because they're catering to projecting a lifestyle.
Yeah. And one of the ways I think we could really fully understand that, it's like, if you like, I mean, well, I guess I don't want to guess too much about your childhood, but I'm kind of from what we talked. I'm guessing you've had a sort of maybe similar childhood to mine, where you don't necessarily have a lot of stuff when you're a kid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, when you're a kid, you don't think of yourself as being poor.
No.
You know what I mean? You only really think of yourself as poor as like when you go to your friend's house, you see, oh, they got this, this, and this, or you go to school, they got this, this, and this. When you start comparing to what other people have. But when you're a kid in your house, before all of that, you're doing great. You know what I mean? You've got like, you got your toys, you got whatever, you got your TV, you're doing great. You got food, you got clothes, you're doing great. It's only when you start comparing to this and this, and oh, they've got this and they've got that, and you're not cool unless you have this thing, and then it's like, oh, we're poor. But it's like, when you kind of realize that, like I said, I mean, I like Instagram, I like social media, but I'm saying there's pitfalls of these things. Like we were saying before, like, if you're comparing your lifestyle to somebody else, you're always going to feel inadequate. And the reality is that some of those people, it's not even their lifestyle anyway. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know about some of these like Instagram models who do all kinds of madness in Dubai,
influencers and whatnot. Yeah.
Do you know about what's that site called? Something sponsor, something else. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a site, apparently I've seen this on, like,
it's a site for shopping sugar daddies.
Well, apparently it's a site. I think I saw this on the Aber and Peach channel, so I might be getting the name wrong a little bit, but they were talking about it on one of their videos. Apparently it's a site where it exposes people who, they're all balling out on Instagram. They've got the fancy cars, fancy flying out hair, fancy clothes, and they find out what they actually do to get that, when it's mad things. Like, they're posting videos to these like rich people in Dubai or rich people in whatever part of the world, saying that, yeah, I'm willing to suck a little boy's dick for money. I'm willing to, I'm talking madness, bro. Madness. Yeah. I'm hearing that thinking, if you're willing to do that, just to post some Instagram pics
just for pictures,
it's like, nah, I'm good.
you don't have the money, so when you get there, you're not really living that life.
Right.
You're just taking the pictures.
It's just pictures to make you think they're living a life that they don't have, and they had to suck some little boy's dick to get that.
And then you take the pictures and you spread it out over a content calendar to make people think, oh, you just there for mad time. That was a weekend that you wowed out for, and then you got shipped right back to where you was at, where you was from.
Yeah. There's things like like letting people shit on you and stuff like that, and they'll do that for like for the lifestyle. And maybe that's not every single one of them. I'm sure there's some people who actually do live like that, who genuinely live like that. But
most of the people that genuinely live like that don't show people that they live like that.
Right.
Like most people, that's their regular lives, and they don't take a picture of everything.
Yeah. It's not into them. It's just a normal day. But I mean, the thing is just that, you can compare yourself to people online or wherever, and not realize that they're not living that life either. They're not maybe even happy with themselves. So like,
Absolutely
comparison.
not.
comparing yourself is just gonna kill everything. It's gonna kill your own joy. And when you stop doing that, you just realize, you know what? I got a roof over my head. I got clothes on my back. I get to play video games. I get to watch some movies. I get to go out. I get to travel. I get to do some cool stuff. I got cool people around me. I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty damn well, So like, but when
Yeah.
you start comparing, that's when it's like, oh man, now I'm miserable. So yeah, comparison is a thief of joy. I think I heard that somewhere, but can't remember where I heard it, but it's true.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah. Oof. when a little bit of a deep kind of ramble there a little bit.
Yeah.
But people gotta hear
That
them
was
things. People
good.
gotta hear them things still.
People might need to hear that. Hopefully,
Exactly.
somebody was able to take something from that little detour. It was good. It was good information. Hopefully, it resonated with some people's hearts, because
Indeed, man. Indeed,
it's rough out here, man.
Yeah, all we can do is hope. All we can do is hope. But yeah, I feel like I don't know. I mean, I guess we've talked quite a bit of stuff. This might be a good place to wind down a little bit. Or was there any last things you wanted to mention, or any last things you wanted to say?
Just once again, it is rough out here, man. Find some people that care about you and care about them back, and just love on each other and do for each other, man. Community is not just on Twitch, it's not just on Discord, it's not just on YouTube. It is your people, and you got to take care of your people.
100%, man. Community exists in so many different ways in the modern world. It's not just about the people around you, but it's also the people, like saying in whether it's in your online communities as well. It's all part of the village, It's all part of the village. I mean, that's the world we live in. It's all part of your village, all part of your town. So yeah, take care of the people around you and the people around you. It's kind of mad actually. Like I feel like people said this before as well, but sometimes it feels like you get more support from complete strangers than you do from people you actually know. But if anybody's supporting you doing anything you're doing, whether they're a stranger or not, you're doing well. So
absolutely,
it's something to be grateful for, regardless of whether it's a stranger, whether it's your best friend or whoever. It's the fact that somebody out there is rooting for you is a good thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mr. Henvincible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I promise the next time won't be 2 years from now. You can hit me whenever, and I'll definitely make some time and come back.
I appreciate you, bro. HENIVIC. Oh wait, I'm spelling it wrong. I'm like no.
HENVINCIBLE.
I can't even spell invincible. What's going on?
CIBLE. That's me.
That's dude. A big appreciation for you coming through. Thank you for chatting with me.
Absolutely, always a pleasure.
For anybody watching and or listening, that's the man to check out. There'll be links in the description to like the Twitches and things like that. So yeah, check out. It's doing some really cool stuff. But yeah, thank you for watching and or listening. And until any suggestions, of course, drop in the comments as well. That too. Subscribe. I should probably say that too. Like, I mean, if you watch this far, then I'd assume you like it.
So you know when new uploads go up.
Exactly. If you watched and listened this far, I'm gonna assume you enjoyed the content. So you know what I mean. If you didn't enjoy it, there's like, what were you doing? There's other things you could be doing if you didn't enjoy it. So I'm assuming you enjoy the content if you listened this far.
If you got a fetish and you just like indulging shit and that you hate, hey, that runs the numbers up too. We appreciate you.
I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to judge. You know what I mean? I'm not here to judge. So whatever floats your boat. Just don't DM me nothing though. I will say that. Just don't. If you still want to freaky ones, don't. Yeah, we want. Man ain't James Charles out here. You know what I mean? But yeah, thank you for watching and or listening. And until whenever, if ever, peace.